Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Matt,
And this is Brylee.
and we welcome you to another episode of the Carter Crew Discusses. Today, I think we in the Houston area enjoyed a pretty cool exposition of sorts. Taxpayer money well spent, I keep joking about. But we got to see a flight of the Blue Angels, the United States Navy Blue Angels. They're kind of a recruiting and demonstration flight team with planes that fly and patterns and all kinds of neat formations for the enjoyment of fans and people at air shows. But today they made some special flight patterns and flight arrangements that they hit the Dallas area, they've hit the New Orleans area as well, and today we got to see them over the Houston metropolitan area. So they came down from the north, flew around the Med Center, and then out to some of the other area hospitals on the suburban side of town. Both north, south, east, and west. So that was kind of neat. So, Brylee, did you get to see the Blue Angels flying today?
Yes, we did. We got to see the Blue Angels fly.
Okay, so who is we? Because you and I were not together today when the Blue Angels were
No,
flying
we
around.
were
So
not.
who is we?
Me and Brendan
Okay.
watched the Blue Angels.
I assume you were outside. You couldn't have
We
seen them
were
from inside.
outside.
Did you take any pictures?
I did not.
Did you hear them?
Very clearly, yes.
So was it loud, I take it?
It was loud.
Did they, was there any smoke or chemtrail or
There was.
contrails is really the better. Chemtrails are
was.
for those foil wearing friends of mine. So there was some contrails that were back behind or smoke release back behind.
Yes.
Kind of neat.
Yes.
Had you ever seen the Blue Angels before?
I have not.
No? So this was your first time?
Yes.
Were you just stood out in front of the house?
Technically, yes.
Well, why do you say technically?
We were out in front of the house, or we were like in the driveway, but we were cleaning the car, so.
Well, did you take a moment to look up at the?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so you didn't miss it.
No.
How long do you think that it took for them to fly by?
Everything?
Yeah, how long do you think you watched? How much was everything?
Like, are you talking about in total?
Yeah.
Just us watching
Yes.
it, or
You-
everybody?
You watching? How long did it
Maybe
take?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. It went
It
fast,
was
didn't it?
not long.
Not long at all. Do you know that their whole flight plan that they had laid out that went all around the Houston area? How long do you think that they spent flying around the Houston area? If you only saw them for 30 seconds, how long do you think they had in their official flight plan today that they published?
Maybe around 20 minutes?
Very close. It was about 30 minutes. They
Ah.
estimated about 30 minutes from the time that they came in to the north side of the Houston area till they finally were, it looked like they were probably going to go down towards Galveston perhaps, but I assume that they probably went to Ellington Field on the south side of town and landed over there. So yeah, 30 minutes is all that they had scheduled. So there wasn't much time no matter where you were, huh?
Mm-mm.
Did you know why they flew?
I did not.
No, you just knew that it was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you know what an essential worker is?
Yes.
What do you know an essential worker to be?
Yes. I know two.
Okay.
You,
What two do you know?
You are one, as your shirt.
That's right. I'm wearing a
An essential
Relentless.
worker.
Nope. It's on, it is on this side. So the Relentless Defender. Some friends of mine that own a T-shirt shop. There's some veteran essential workers. Here, let me move the microphone. That may help. So I'm a frontline essential worker. Who else has a T-shirt like this?
And then my mom.
Mom. Yep, that's right.
Is an essential worker.
So you know two essential workers, both
I
of them
do.
in your house. Do you know any other essential workers?
I think I do, but I don't
Like who?
remember what their names are. Or like I don't remember who they are.
Well, who do you think? What type of people or workers or careers are out there that are considered essential workers that you think?
Uncle Jason is inside his
No,
house,
Uncle
right?
Jason, yeah. So he's working from home mostly. So is But what type of jobs? So you won't
A
necessarily.
firefighter.
Okay, a firefighter would be essential. Who else?
Doctor.
Doctors. Who else?
Um, Vets.
Veterinarians, yeah, because we do have Dr. Uncle James, so
Mm-hmm.
he's been essential during all of this because he's a veterinarian.
That's all I can think of.
That's all.
Yeah.
What about, okay, so we talked, or you mentioned doctors, but what about
Mm-hmm.
nurses?
Nurses.
Any, and then there's
Maybe
lots of,
electricians.
I would not be surprised if electricians were out there having to do work because we need electricity to kind of, but not just doctors or nurses, but lots of folks that work in the health field, from technicians to even folks that are help make sure that we have sanitized workspaces inside of the hospitals and clinics and emergency care facilities. So
Like
the
janitors.
janitor staff as well, but yeah, there's also technicians that help with equipment and setups and breakdowns to make sure that the equipment works properly. And so, like X-ray technicians, for example, to take pictures that the doctors can use to make diagnosis and help get people well. So there's a lot of folks. Where else have you been since we've been doing this that has stayed open and has people working because the jobs that they do are
Stores.
stores, yes.
Ah.
So food, restaurants, okay.
Yes.
Trash pickup.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask your thoughts on, because it's probably not a surprise that the work that Mom and I do, both of us work in and around law enforcement, so that is certainly, I think people expect that we're going to be out there working almost in any circumstance. So if it's bad weather, if there's danger, Mom and I are probably going to be at work no matter what, right? So that's not a shock to you, was it?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Do you think though that it was fair that some people were told they couldn't go to work?
It was not fair.
What is it about it that you don't think was fair? What we've had some discussions at the supper table about this kind of choices that were made by elected officials, and I'm just curious. I know we've discussed it, but I'm kind of wanting to go there in discussion tonight with what you think about businesses that did have to shut down.
Well, whether people or the government think they're essential
Mm-hmm.
or think they're not, every like business area is technically essential because they provide you with either goods, because like restaurants, food,
Mhm.
stores, like clothing,
Mhm.
food and stuff. And
Let me ask
everything's
another
essential.
question. So let's just use the example of, let's say, like a barber shop.
Okay.
Places like that were closed because the government officials, the maybe the county judge or the mayor or the governor, decided that those types of places were not essential. Um, what do you think their families think about their work? Do you think that their families need them? It's essential for them to work so that they can buy
Make
food.
money.
Okay. And what do you need money to do?
Like pay your electricity bills, like any type of bills that you have to pay. You have to pay car bills. You have to buy food.
Mm-hmm.
Big thing is buy toilet paper. So
Toilet paper was kind of a weird thing going on in this whole.
it's why would you buy toilet paper?
I don't know that we still know why people bought a bunch of toilet paper, but all of a sudden it was hard to come by, wasn't it?
Yeah, I get like maybe like cleaning supplies.
Okay.
But why toilet paper?
I don't know. I don't know. Do you think people knew that people that were buying toilet paper, do you think they even knew why they were buying a bunch of toilet paper?
No, because everybody at least knew one person that was buying a whole bunch of toilet paper, and then they're like, oh my gosh, I need this toilet paper.
So do you think that people acted reasonably during all of this, or do you think that they acted in a panicked way?
I think some people acted reasonable and some people acted over the top.
Okay. What is your view on why people may have acted over the top? What do you think led them to behave in that kind of a way? What do you think was going on?
For the toilet paper?
Maybe, okay, the toilet paper is the example you want to use. Why did people feel that they should buy all this toilet? What do you think was going on that led them to make those
Well,
types of choices?
some people have like digestive
Okay.
problems,
Hmm.
and they may use the bathroom a lot,
That could
and
be
they
the
may
case.
run out of toilet paper. And if you're staying in the house a lot, you're gonna need all that toilet paper.
Okay.
And if you have like medical issues, kind of like that, then you're gonna need a lot of toilet paper. But people who don't have medical issues and don't like go um, like a lot, I think they're overreacting.
Okay, so there were people that did overreact.
Yes.
What do you think led them to overreact? Why would they overreact um, and do things like buy a bunch of toilet paper that they didn't need?
Well, they may be like panicking, like, oh, the stores may be closed. We may not be able to get this, so let's just stock up while we still can.
Okay, so you think there was some fear? What do you think led to them having that fear? What was going on that made them become so fearful?
Well, they want to plan ahead, and they know they're not supposed to go anywhere, and so they really don't want to leave their house, so they stocked up on toilet paper so they wouldn't have to go and leave the house.
Okay, who was making decisions that made them afraid they would not be able to leave the house or that stores would be closed?
The government.
Well, was it the government or the people that are in the government?
Both.
Okay.
Because
Well,
the
what?
people in the government are the government.
Okay, good. That I think is an important distinction. It isn't the government is just a thing, but the decisions were made by people that work within the thing. Based on what you've seen out of all of this, do you trust the decision makers in the government more or less right now?
I think the government is as well overreacting.
So you thought the government and the decision makers overreacted?
Yes.
So some of the closures and restrictions you don't think were necessary?
No.
What in particular makes you feel that way?
Because just because you're out and doing stuff doesn't mean particularly that you're gonna get the coronavirus.
Okay.
Like people wear masks, people wear gloves. That all can help you prevent you from getting the coronavirus.
Okay, so you think people are able to make some decisions themselves and don't
Yes.
need to be told what to do by the
Exactly.
government? Okay. So I'll ask it this maybe slightly different. Do you think moving forward, as you maybe in the next couple of years, will you be willing to trust the government with decisions, or will you question whether the decisions that people in the government are making are the best decisions?
Well, it's depending on what the decisions they make.
Not knowing what the decisions will be, with all that's happened today at May 6th of 2020, are you more or less likely to trust a decision by someone in the government in the next year?
I think maybe in the middle, sort of.
So you still have a feeling that the government officials are trying to do good things for the public,
Yes.
but that they may have gotten it wrong in some ways on our response to the coronavirus.
Well, that's just my feeling.
I have no
I don't
problem
want
with your
anyone
feeling.
to come after me because I'm saying these things.
Who do you think would come after you because you're saying?
The government?
Oh, you're worried. It. So maybe you don't trust the government all that much. Do you think the government's going to watch this video?
Maybe. I don't know. That's why I'm trying to be nice.
Well, if it's true, why do you have to be nice?
That's just my feeling. That's just how I think.
Okay. Are you afraid of the government?
In some ways.
In what way? What's a way that you are afraid of the government? Well, it sounded like you were afraid that someone in the government may see this video
And come after.
and then come after you. What is coming after you? What do you think they're going to do to you?
Well, they may send people over to our house.
And
Because they know everything, apparently. They know where you live.
How do you think they get that information?
Well, one, you guys send, a lot of people send like postcards, and then you have to send where like you're from.
So you think the
And
government tracks information?
yes,
How else might they track information
on
besides
your
sending mail?
phone.
Oh, on your phone. So you think the government uses information that's on our, and when you say phone, you're talking about our smart devices, like a
Yes.
smartphone.
Yes.
So you think the government uses information that we send and receive on our smart devices to make a log or track what we like, what we don't like, what we do, and what we don't do? What would you say if I told you the government has gotten in trouble before for capturing information that has been on cell phones?
I say.
Are you surprised,
No,
or
I say I believe that.
you believe that? It has happened a lot.
I can see that happening.
What do you think they want with all that information? Do you think we should trust the government with that information,
I
or
don't.
okay?
No one but yourself and maybe your family members should know that information. Or
So
maybe your friends or something.
so you should be able to decide who knows that information,
Yes.
but the government should not be able to just get that information.
Right.
Okay. So it sounds like that maybe you don't want the government to have information about you collected on things that you use for your entertainment or for work or for school.
Correct.
So that the government should not have access to that stuff.
No.
That bothers you to hear that they do?
Yes. Because they wouldn't want us like going through maybe like who would be the next president or something. They want that to be like a surprise. And we may not want to tell people what our like personal stuff is, what our address is, what our phone numbers are.
So you think privacy is important?
Yes.
Okay. And that it sounds like you don't trust the government with sensitive information.
No.
No.
Who does?
Some people may. I don't know. Have I have I said things like that in like around supper or
Like
talking
what?
about things like let me ask a different question and then we'll come back to that.
Okay.
Did I tell you what you should say tonight as we were sitting here to do this recording?
No.
But have I said things similar to what you said that maybe influences how you believe or how you behave?
Kind of?
Kind of. So do you think I trust the government with a lot of information?
Well, no one trusts really anybody that they haven't told with their information or
Okay.
steals their information. But I don't know. You may.
Okay. So but my question is, do you think I trust the government with all of my information from my cell phone?
No. No one trusts or like you wouldn't want me like watching over your shoulder, just looking at maybe you typing in like a password for something.
And you think the government kind of does that?
Kinda. They're kind of looking over your shoulder.
So the government looks over your shoulder. Do you trust the government to make decisions better than you? Or do you think you can make decisions better than the government officials can on what's best for you?
Well, it's me, so I make the decisions, right?
Do you think people should be free to make their own choices?
Depending on what it is, yes.
When should they not be free to make their own choices?
Well, some people just, what's it called? They just speak their mind whenever
Okay.
they want, and that could be like, they could say a bad word, and that could be something that parents don't want their children to see or hear.
Okay, so you're kind of working, it sounds a little bit like you recognize that you're underage, you're a child, right? And that you know that your parents are going to make decisions for you in some ways.
Yes.
So let me change a little bit to the idea of that question, because all right, you're not prepared probably to make all your decisions by
No.
yourself because of your age.
No.
Would you trust the government officials to make decisions about your care or your parents?
Who would the government officials be?
Pick one. Is there anyone that you would trust to make those decisions better than your parents?
Maybe me or like Brendan or something.
No. Government officials.
Oh no.
No one in the government. Okay. So you trust your parents more than you trust the government?
Yes.
Do you trust that adults are better able to make decisions for their lives better than government officials can make decisions for their lives?
Because it's their lives, their choice.
And you sound pretty confident with that one. There was no hesitation.
No.
Okay, so I'll go back to, do you trust the government in a general sense? Or are you distrustful generally of the government?
I think right now, like as we're speaking, I don't trust them.
Okay. Do you think that's likely to change, just say the next year?
Depending on what they do, yes.
So it could change?
It could change.
So you could trust the government more?
I could, but they would have to kind of prove themselves.
Okay.
Or themselves.
Do you think that you would trust the government more than your parents to make life decisions for you?
No.
At any point? Okay.
No.
But you might begin to trust the government more than you do now?
I might, yes.
Okay. Anything else? I think we've covered a lot of area here today.
Lot.
Do you remember where we started and what
we started with the Blue Angels.
Blue Angels, and we ended up talking about the government. So,
and then it went from Blue Angels to coronavirus to the government.
And the Blue Angels, coronavirus, essential workers, and then decisions that the government was making, right? Leading into us.
Essential workers.
How much do we trust?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So
all right.
Pretty much all tied up.
If you say so. You're half the show today, Brylee. So I will say adieu, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. My name is Matt.
And my name is Brylee.
And we'll see you next time.